Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth. I just wanted to also mention some things that might help you in practicing. It's okay if you don't use all of them, but just in case. So one of the things that I find challenging is the different bowing techniques between, a smooth bow, like we have at the beginning, right? Or the change from the smooth bow to the staccato bow on measure 69 and even 70, right? And so one of the ways that I like to practice is with the scales. I know sometimes they're boring, but they can really help me in terms of getting my bowing technique down. So if I'm having trouble with smooth bow and staccato, I might start by doing a regular scale, just normal long bows. So I'll do, for example, a G scale in a long bow. And then I might shift over from staccato, right? Just to get my right arm used to that motion, and especially my wrist, because you kind of have to stop your bow, right? Another thing, whoops, needs to be a little tighter there. Another thing that I find can help in that transition from smooth to short is to practice that in a scale, because I can go through my scale maybe a little bit faster than what's written in the score, just because I'm used to playing my scale, right? I'm used to doing, right? And so I can do smooth staccato to try that, for example. So it might be, right? And that kind of gets me used to that motion. And then when I come back to measure 69, I can kind of do that, right? And you might have noticed actually in that scale, I kind of kept the same rhythm of quarter note, eighth note, quarter note, eighth note in my scale, right? So it was like, so that's one way you can practice that. Another thing that you can do, just to kind of help you out, is if you're having trouble getting, sorry, my doggy is walking around the room. If you're having trouble going up to the tempo that they want, so the normal tempo at measure 67 is the dotted quarter note equals 82, which is a little bit fast. It sounds a little bit like, whoops. Right? So, one of the ways that you can work up to that speed is to get your, handy dandy metronome out and start, say, at a really slow pace, maybe at, say, 70, which would be something like, and then slowly work your way up. So you have your metronome at 70, and then you bump it up to maybe 72, right? And then it's maybe a little bit like, and then you keep going. Right? And so that's one way that can help you speed it up. So you start your metronome really low, and then you practice at that speed until you get, everything you want to get, the dynamics, the rhythm, and then you just bump it up bit by bit until you get to your target speed. And I've actually done that a lot with really, really fast pieces where I couldn't get all the notes, so it sounded really, really muddy. And I went back and I started really, really slow, and I just spent a lot of time bumping up my metronome until I could play it at the speed that I needed to play it for our orchestra concerts. So that's one way that really helps me to work on my speed. And then lastly, in terms of intonation, that really mostly comes with scales, of course. But another thing that you can do that might help is to practice with a tuner. If you guys have a tuner at home, it can be really helpful to go through and practice, bowing each note with a tuner. So, find your F and tune it to the F. Sometimes I'll listen to a tuner when I'm playing. So, for example, on measure 74, bar 74, it's A, F, A, right? And for that, it can be really helpful for me to just get out my tuner and listen to the A. And that way I'm tuning my F to that A sound. And you might have seen me do that in the last video too, where I went to tune my C, I went, right? I just started from the open string. And so our open strings can be really helpful for us to work on intonation. And all of these things are practice tips that you can use at any time. It's really hard to do the work that you guys are doing and to, get your fingers in the right spot and get it in tune and train your fingers to move really quickly. One of the reasons I really like the starting slow and then building up my speed is because most of the time if I were to do that, my fingers on my left hand move faster than my right hand. So it kind of sounds like, right? Like it doesn't sound like anything. And so doing this type of stuff, practicing really specifically on one thing that you want to work on is really helpful. A metronome also, I didn't mention, but I'm sure you guys know, will really help you with the rhythm of this piece. So it is the dotted quarter note, and so what I was doing to count is I just had my metronome on 2 beats, like a 1, 2, 1, 2 kind of thing, and I counted 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and the whole time. And so that way I know that all of my eighth notes are landing, there's 6 eighth notes to each bar, so I know where I'm supposed to land. And so all these little tricks and tips can kind of just help you really refine, when you start playing it's a little bit rusty, and by the time you get to the end, hopefully you guys can hear the improvement yourselves. So hopefully that was helpful. I hope you guys have a lot of fun practicing, and good luck with your auditions, guys. Good luck. Hope you get it.